Well, Steve Hoy is the CEO of Australian-based energy startup Enosi, which is one of the few players globally to have successfully answered the call for 24/7 energy traceability by Google, Microsoft, IBM and others. He joins me live now.
Hi Alana,
Steve.
nice to talk to you.
Thanks for joining us. Look, tell us, I guess, broadly, firstly, what shifts are we seeing in the Australian energy market at the moment?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of major things. The marginal cost of renewable power clearly coming down. We're seeing cheaper and cheaper renewable power, and that's a major shift in the industry. And of course, we're seeing the emergence of all sorts of things going on the demand side. Devices, batteries, people being able to do things for themselves at home. Of course, these things are things that we're tapping into. This idea that renewable power actually is cheaper to produce. So we think that everybody really should be able to start seeing that on their bills.
So when you say energy traceability, what exactly is that and why is it important, particularly to big tech like Google and Microsoft and IBM?
Yeah, you're right. The Google case is a really interesting one. So for several years now, we've been seeing people like Google running major data centers who are going out and getting renewable power contracts. And they've been liking to say that they're 100% renewably powered, but in fact what they're doing is writing a contract with, say, a local wind farm to their data center, and then buying a bunch of certificates to make up the difference between the energy they use when the wind's blowing and the energy they use when it's not. And so what they're aiming to do is measure exactly how much energy they're using when the wind's blowing, in the contract they've got with that wind farm. And it turned out in the examples they were using that they had something like 61% of their energy is actually renewable, and the rest is actually coming from usually coal-fired sources, and being offset by carbon offsets or various certificates. So now they're aiming to lift that 61 up to say 100, and they're being followed by Microsoft, IBM just a couple of weeks ago announcing 100% renewable power as their goal without certificates. And so traceability is required to achieve that. And Enosi's built that with our Powertracer product, and we're also making it available to everyone, right down to households.
And tell us about your partnership with the City of Sydney and I guess why that's so significant with this.
Yeah, I think that's going to be really fun. Actually, we're doing a project with City of Sydney, and we're running a small competition. So allowing people who don't have solar on their roof. Right? This is the kind of the key thing. Lots of people can access solar energy by putting rooftop solar on, but an awful lot of people can't. And so we've got a street in the City of Sydney, and we also have an apartment, and they're going to run a small competition. So who can move as much of their energy to the solar part of the day, with it being matched by Powertracer to a solar farm, and which of those two groups are going to improve their renewable percentage as much as possible. So it should be a great project, and I think the city will help us promote this idea out there.
Well, Steve, if people want to find out more about everything that you're doing at Enosi and your Powertracer technology, where can they do that?
Well, of course, online, you can see us at enosi.energy, ENOSI.energy, and there's plenty there. Or they can contact the retailers that we work with. So we have contracts with a number of retailers, Simply Energy, Energy Locals, and Anova Community Energy, and we're working with some others. So it's working really well for us, and we're hoping to expand our footprint broadly in the next year or so, and even take the product overseas.
Well, congratulations to you and your team. Thanks for joining us and giving us your insight on that topic this afternoon, Steve. We appreciate your time.
My pleasure, Alana.